A tool can charge you twice. The first charge is easy to see. It is the amount on the monthly bill. The second charge is quieter. It arrives as an evening spent watching setup videos. It appears when you copy your services into another screen, rebuild the same cancellation policy, or answer a client manually because the booking flow confused her. It is the hour you lose trying to remember which menu controls a reminder. It is the mental tab that stays open because you are never quite sure whether the system is doing what you thought you told it to do. That second charge is the setup tax. For a large spa, training and configuration can belong to an operations team. For a solo practitioner, they land on the same person who prepares the room, welcomes the client, performs the treatment, cleans up, follows up, and tries to have a life when the day is over. So this episode is not another argument that you need more technology. It is an argument for a higher standard. A tool has not saved you time if learning and feeding it becomes another job. In July 2026, Thrive released a survey of 561 small and medium business decision makers in the United States. 66% reported using AI, up from the prior year. At the same time, 70% said they needed more training to use it effectively. Those figures need context. This was a broad, small business survey commissioned by a software company. It was not a study of solo massage therapists or estheticians, and it does not prove that every business needs AI training. But the tension is useful. Adoption can rise, while relief fails to arrive. Installing a tool is not the same as having work taken off your plate. A feature can exist without being understandable. Automation can exist without being trusted. A dashboard can be full, while the owner's evening is still full too. That distinction matters because the software industry often measures success at the wrong moment. The account was created, the feature was enabled, the integration was connected. From the software company's point of view, setup is complete. From the practitioner's point of view, the real test begins tomorrow morning. Did the client understand what to book? Did the hours match reality? Did the reminder go out? Did the deposit rule behave as expected? When something unusual happened, did the tool surface one clear choice or send the owner on a search through 5 settings pages? The outcome is the product. Everything else is preparation. Public conversations among solo practitioners are remarkably practical. One massage practitioner comparing booking systems in March wrote that ease of use and an attractive booking site were important and explicitly identified herself as solo. A beginner esthetician asking for recommendations in August wanted something affordable, professional, easy for clients, capable of reminders and forms, and able to grow with the business. Another solo esthetician described clients repeatedly messaging her for appointments because they found the booking experience complicated. The tool had features she liked as an owner, but client confusion returned the work to her inbox. These are individual public posts, not a representative survey. We should not turn 3 people into an industry statistic, but their questions reveal a better way to judge software. They are not asking for the most buttons. They are asking, will my client trust it? Will it be easy to book? Will I be able to afford it while I am getting established? Will it still serve me when the practice grows? And when something goes wrong, will I understand what to do? That is the lived definition of simplicity. Simplicity is not a blank screen with fewer features. It is fewer unfinished jobs landing back on the owner. It would be easy and inaccurate to pretend every established booking product is complicated or behind. Some practitioners genuinely like the tools they use. A verified massage book review from an owner and licensed massage therapist praised the system because, in her words, you don't need a whole lot of help with navigating the software. She also praised its support and online booking experience. That matters. Good support is part of simplicity. Familiarity is part of value. A product that reliably handles the work a practitioner needs may be the right choice, even if a newer product has a more ambitious feature list. The market is also moving quickly. Fresh's current documentation says its AI concierge can answer client calls and messages, share business information, and book, cancel, or reschedule appointments according to the business's settings. It provides an activity log and a path for a team member to take over. Fresha describes it as a separate add-on that works with its connected client inbox. That is meaningful functionality, and Fresha deserves credit for it. Other platforms are moving in the same direction. ABC Fitness recently announced its acquisition of Replify, which provides communication agents across voice, text, email, and chat for fitness operations. The lesson is not that one company has won, it is that the category is changing. Booking software is being asked to do more than display a calendar. But more capability creates a new risk. More setup, more rules, more channels, and more training can quietly reproduce the same administrative burden in a more sophisticated form. The feature is only valuable when the work is actually absorbed. The setup tax does not end when the account goes live. It has 3 forms. The first is the starting tax. This is the obvious one. Entering services, prices, durations, hours, policies, forms, payment rules, reminders, and website copy. Some of that information is necessary. A booking system cannot know that your 90-minute treatment needs a 30-minute buffer unless the practice tells it. The question is, who performs the translation? Does the owner have to learn the shape of the software and populate every field alone? Or can the system gather what already exists, ask only for what is missing, and prepare a result that is easy to review? The second is the maintenance tax. Hours change. A service is renamed. A practitioner stops offering something seasonally. The cancellation policy evolves after a difficult month. If every change requires remembering which screen owns which setting, the software is quietly creating a new operational role, keeper of the system. Good software does not pretend the business will never change. It makes change feel proportional. A small business decision should remain a small action. The third is the exception tax. Routine bookings are predictable. Life is not. A client needs a different time. The owner has a personal calendar conflict. A familiar client asks a question that does not fit a drop-down menu. This is where rigid automation can create more work than it removes. The best response is not to automate every exception blindly. It is to resolve what is safe and routine, then bring forward the specific judgment that belongs to the human. One clear decision is lighter than monitoring everything. Starting, maintaining, and handling exceptions, a tool must reduce the total weight across all 3. A quick setup followed by months of supervision is not simple. A powerful system that takes weeks to configure is not simple for a practice that needs to accept its first booking now. Simplicity is the whole relationship, not the first 5 minutes. Real simplicity has 3 signs. First, the system starts with the way the practitioner already speaks. A massage therapist should be able to explain in ordinary language that she offers 60 and 90-minute sessions, keeps Fridays for returning clients, and wants a deposit on new client bookings. She should not have to translate her practice into a vendor's internal vocabulary before the tool can help. Second, the system prepares a sensible result instead of assigning a project. There is a world of difference between "here are 12 settings to complete" and "here is what I prepared from what you told me, please check these 2 choices." In the second experience, the practitioner is contributing judgment, not performing software administration. Third, the system makes exceptions visible without making routine work loud. Most bookings should simply settle into the calendar. An unusual request, a conflict, or a decision involving money deserves the owner's attention. The tool should bring that moment forward clearly, explain what it needs, and leave the final choice with the owner. Routine work should feel quiet. Exceptions should feel understandable. Control should not require constant supervision. This is why a giant checklist is the wrong takeaway from this episode. You do not need homework about every administrative task in your practice. You need one question for any tool you are considering. What meaningful job will this finish for me? Not what can it display, not what can it suggest, not how many features appear on the pricing page. What will it finish? If the answer is clear, you can judge whether the result is worth the price and the attention it requires. If the answer is vague, another feature list will not make it clearer. This podcast is produced by Kirah, so you should apply that same question to us. Kirah is being built around plain language guidance, owner review, and the belief that complexity should fold away behind a useful result. In the current product, supported setup and configuration can begin with the owner describing the practice in ordinary language with prepared information presented for review. That does not mean every possible setup task or business request is handled automatically today. It does not mean Kirah is the only product moving toward administrative assistance. It means this is the standard we are choosing to be measured against. Did Kirah finish useful work? Did it preserve the owner's control? Did it make the practice easier to run without requiring the practitioner to become a technologist? If the answer is no, the feature is not complete simply because it exists. And if another tool serves your practice better today, choose that tool. The goal is not to win a software argument. The goal is to protect the attention that makes your work valuable in the first place. The most important moment in a wellness practice does not happen inside a dashboard. It happens when the client arrives and feels that the room is ready. It happens when the practitioner is not mentally composing a reply, worrying about a calendar setting, or trying to remember whether a form went out. It happens when attention is allowed to stay where the craft is happening. Technology earns its place by making that presence easier. So remember the setup tax. The monthly price is not the whole cost. Count the training, the upkeep, the work returned by a confusing client experience, and the mental energy required to keep the system running. Then ask the one question that matters. What meaningful job will this finish for me? The right tool should have a calm, concrete answer. To see what your public presence currently communicates to clients and to the new tools helping them search, you can run the free visibility check at kirah.ai/audit. And if you want to challenge this argument or tell us what your current software quietly puts back on your plate, leave a comment. We read them.